Ever since the big reveal in chapter 1043 that Luffy is the reincarnation of the Joyboy, a lot of the fanbase have become concerned that Oda is fumbling the bag and that Luffy being predestined is contradictory to his character. Since the beginning of One Piece, Oda has framed this juxtaposition between the themes of destiny and dreams. Even though we have the overarching destiny and prophecy surrounding the Joyboy that feels like it dictates Luffy's path, Luffy has always marched to the beat of his own drum, pursuing his dreams of becoming the Pirate King based on his own free will and ambition. In this video, I'll be analyzing how this destiny is being balanced with dreams by examining whether Luffy's preordained fate as the Joyboy actually undercuts his innate qualities of boundless ambition and charting his own course based on self-determination, as well as whether this prophecy negates his underdog appeal defined by scrappiness and freedom, or if instead it enables his spirit of the will of D to overhaul the odds and achieve his goal of becoming the Pirate King on his own terms. If you would like to see future One Piece content such as this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and feel free to leave suggestions for ideas of videos you would like to see in the future in the comment section below. The story starts in chapter 1, with Luffy declaring how he wants to become a pirate. It's at this moment that we meet Shanks for the very first time, as he teases Luffy for being too weak to become a pirate. While seeing the red-haired pirate crew dance and encourage Luffy of how great the freedom of the sea really is, Shanks tells them not to give Luffy any foolish ideas. But this seems to show how Shanks really knew what he was doing. Even though Shanks and his crew stole the Gum Gum fruit from CP9, it seems this was one of the voyages he set out on while using the island of Fuchsia Village as a base. But did Shanks just so happen to have the fruit with him and purposely leave it in front of a stupid kid he knows has an appetite? Maybe it's not, but whether it may or may not be that Shanks slipped Luffy the fruit intentionally, what is more clear is that Shanks definitely did intend on giving Luffy the hat, and that moment has now taken on a new significance with hindsight. Now that we understand the significance of the Gum Gum fruit and the straw hat, it is apparent that Shanks knew about the Joyboy and was acting to ensure that it could happen. We can speculate that Shanks had some knowledge or clues about the true fate of this fruit, and was subtly guiding Luffy towards his destiny as the Joyboy while still allowing him to retain his free spirit. His early mentorship shaped Luffy's drive and personality while also putting him on the path towards fulfilling the prophecy. Now we understand why Shanks didn't want to reunite with Luffy for all this time. He was waiting until a certain time to awaken. If Shanks did know what he was doing in the moment that he gave Luffy the straw hat, he was not only challenging Luffy to chase his dream, but he was literally obstructing it by imposing a destiny on him that would seem to contradict this dream. This contradiction between Luffy's innate desire for freedom and the fate Shanks imprinted on him plays out through Luffy's entire journey. Shanks' refusal to meet again until Luffy becomes a great pirate likely connects to his understanding of Luffy's destiny as the Joyboy. He did not want to reunite until Luffy was ready to take on that mantle. The connection between the Drums of Liberation, the Skypian dance, and Bink's Sake lyrics highlights the significance of music and rhythm to the concept of freedom in One Piece, and we can analyze how these moments tie into the Joyboy's faded role that also reflects the lyrics of the song. Looking closer at the lyrics of Bink's Sake, we see mentions of the waves guiding sailors through storms, the grand adventurous lives pirates led, and a carefree spirit persisting even at death. All themes that resonate with Joyboy's destiny and inherited will. But what does it mean to be the Joyboy? What does it mean to have a destiny? This isn't the usual way destiny is done. One Piece provides a very subverted take to the portrayal of destiny, where someone specific is a matter of fact going to do something specific. The Joyboy's destiny is more abstract and conditional rather than predetermined. In this case, someone unspecific will possibly do something that's inevitable. We can speculate more about why the Joyboy failed in his duty to raise Noah and what promises he could not keep. But perhaps the key difference will be Luffy utilizing the same power of friendship and bonds that has brought him this far, compared to the Joyboy working alone. This of course connects the concept of inherited will and the will of D. The will of D likely connects other carriers of this initial like Luffy to these world-changing fates. The initial implies inherent qualities that make them well suited as successors for grand ambitions. The inheritor chooses to take on the duty but has freedom in execution. That death does not matter so much as one's dream can be inherited by those who come after them. So the passing on of dreams amounts to making the inheritor destined to fulfill that dream. Whitebeard's quote makes it clear that it is not someone specific that is predetermined to bear the weight of centuries of history, but someone certainly will arrive to do so. This same sentiment is echoed by Neptune when he speaks of the Joyboy. Luffy embodies this as an undefined destined figure by choosing to carry on Roger and Joyboy's dreams. Luffy takes on their destined duties but through his own journey and personality. Just as Shanks subtly nudged Luffy toward destiny, forces have moved the pieces so Luffy confronts being the Joyboy. He may realign his Pirate King quest towards the Joyboy's unfinished duty, yet his defiant spirit driving his freedom may override fate's pull. Oda balances destiny propelling Luffy ahead with his independence binding him on his own terms. Overall, destiny in One Piece is not so predetermined, but rather is simply the burden of history from the people before them being placed on the shoulders of those that they deem as worthy and capable. So does this contradict Luffy's dream? I think the thing everyone is most familiar about with Luffy is that he's the embodiment of freedom. So doesn't being destined contradict that? It seems Oda made sure to address this before it became an issue. Right off the bat, Luffy's journey has been framed as one of destiny and dreams, rather than one or the other. Luffy will discover one while pursuing the other and have to come to terms with both. Whilst Luffy himself is the embodiment of freedom, there have been various moments where his path has actually been dictated to him and his arrival has been spoken of as preordained or organized. Characters in particular, such as Shanks and Dragon, seem to have an early understanding of Luffy's fated role. In particular, the two are perfect examples as leading all the way back to their first appearances, they seem to have set him on his path. Shanks' actions of gifting Luffy the Gum Gum fruit and his treasured straw hat do resemble ceremonial rites marking Luffy for greatness. The fruit empowers Luffy with a power mirroring Nika the Sun God, almost foreshadowing his destined inheritance of the Joyboy struggle. The straw hat itself carries symbolic weight, once worn by Gol D. Roger himself. Shanks singling out Luffy to guard these mystical relics of destiny until he comes of age to tap into their history hints at very intentional maneuvering. It suggests Shanks sees granting these boons to Luffy as sparking a chain of casualty where the boy follows the calling of the past into the future. But unlike Shanks symbolically inducting Luffy into a lineage of fate, Dragon seems focused on allowing Luffy's freedom and organic will to flourish unconstrained. He shields Luffy from worldly burdens that would dim his spirited individualism, the very quality that must blaze unfettered to ignite the flames of epical change. Dragon may still sense the appointed hour nearing when the inherited will he embodies as a D must topple eras of oppression, and Luffy's uncaged nature primes him as the perfect storm to achieve what the revolution cannot directly. Yet Dragon withholds any paternal pressure to carry on his unfinished cause. This focuses more on Dragon's possible insight into Luffy's role but determination to let Luffy arrive there spontaneously rather than force a fate upon him. In this way, Dragon respects the independence central to Luffy igniting lasting change by simply following his natural course. When we consider destiny as not something that is predetermined, but rather as something that people are determined to make happen, these things begin to make more sense. That Luffy is not inherently destined to be the Joyboy, and that destiny was imposed on him by other people. Based on Luffy's character, I think we all expected that his reaction to being told he is a predestined chosen one would most likely be like this. However, beyond that gag, I believe that it will actually play a very important role in the story going forward. I believe that this will be a philosophical conflict in a future fight between Luffy and Shanks. Luffy will finally understand that Shanks imposed this destiny on him and will most likely go against this, while Shanks will attempt to convince Luffy of the necessity of fulfilling the Joyboy's will. Shanks understands, like Roger did, that just finding the One Piece is not enough to truly become the Pirate King. Roger was only given that title by the papers in the world government. To truly be the Pirate King, you must be willing and able to fulfill the One Piece's purpose, along with the ability to complete the Joyboy's task. Luffy does not yet realize the full scope of his dream, but in coming to terms with this destiny, he will learn the true scale of his ambition. This destiny and his dream actually go hand in hand in the end. Destined to free the world, but also dreaming of being the freest man on the sea. It is this balance between destiny and dreams that will likely lead to a pivotal moment in the finale of the story. Once the One Piece is found and the true history is learned, what choice will Luffy make? As Rayleigh mentions, maybe Luffy will come to a different answer than even the Roger Pirates made about what must be done after digging up the history of the world. This may tie into the difficult decisions ahead regarding destiny versus dreams and how Luffy balances fate's pull with charting his own course towards freedom. Destiny does not necessarily contradict dreams. Both can be balanced, and that is the function of the concept of inherited will. From the words of Gol D. Roger, an inherited will of strength, one's dreams, and the ebb and flow of the ages, as long long as people hunger for freedom, these things will exist. Roger's quote perfectly captures how destiny and dreams coexist through the passing down of monumental ambitions across generations. The tide of history brings figures hurtling towards fateful junctions, yet the strength of spirit and hunger to break chains persists as a thread woven into the tapestry of time. Luffy now stands at the intersection where the swell of inherited wills concentrates all its force to breach into a new age. His adventurous dream brought him here organically, but preceding legends carved this path for him. In pushing forward the endless pirate romance, he edges closer to Fishman Island's ancient oathkeeper awaiting his sacred duty. Dreams spirit the successor towards destiny. Oda has woven Luffy's uncanny fate so tightly with his fierce independence that the two now propel each other. As Luffy races exuberantly for the horizon without a roadmap, the momentum of coming eras hurdles to catch up to him. It remains to be seen whether the next act will frame him as Destiny's darling or its defiant conqueror, but Luffy will undoubtedly stretch fate itself to accommodate the size of his dreams.